What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. In this super special edition box, well, it's not a special edition box, you know what I mean, special edition box from Puma, I have the non-carbon edition of the Puma Ultra 5, which I am actually so excited for. A lot of people have been telling me I need to try these, and here we are. Okay, so the special edition boxes, of course, they're sort of all recycled special edition box. You have the Puma logo here, special edition insignia there on the bottom right-hand corner, and then they make it very clear that this is a special edition, warning, special edition. Okay, on the bottom, there is a size conversion chart for all of the Puma stuff, which is great. And then here is your sizing chart. So these are the Ultra 5 Ultimate Tricks, which of course is a colorway that I absolutely love. I think these, in photos at least, they look insanely cool. And I'm just a fan of the Tricks colorway in general. I think two different color boots is like the sickest thing ever. So you have a US 9, UK 8, Euro 42, and a 27 centimeters in the Sunset Glow and Sunstream colorway, which is so cool. All right, here we go. Opening the box up, and they do, for their special editions, offer a string bag, which is a nice touch. So this is the Faster Football, which comes with their, this is kind of their speed boot type of advertising, I guess, and the Puma logo on the back. It's a pretty thin string bag, so pretty nice, compact. It kind of scrunches up into a small area, which is great. And then just having a string bag, honestly, is a really nice touch as well. And then opening these up, this is of course the first time that I am seeing them as well. Oh my God. Wow, 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 wow. Oh my days. Look at those. That sole plate is insanely beautiful. Dude, I honestly, Puma killed it with this. Oh my God, these are cool looking. So I don't actually know. So Sunset Glow and Sunstream. I'm gonna guess that this is the Sunset Glow color and this is the Sunstream. So the orange is like the Sunstream color. I'm honestly even more excited about this one. Oh, cool. Okay. This is such, I'm being so petty right now. Come on, why are the sole plates the same color? If you're gonna do an orange with a pink, do a pink with an orange. Whatever, I know, whatever. Anyway, okay, let's get the box out of the way. And then we are gonna put these, they come with the little sticker as well. So it says, please note, the boots have a chrome finish on the plate that will wear off during play. It will not affect its performance or yours. I love that. Thanks, Puma. Okay, but super, look at those guys. How beautiful. Oh, so good. Okay, so here we go. The Puma Ultra 5 Tricks colorway. This is, of course, the Ultra 5, which is the brand new silo of the Ultra series. The previous generation was one of the worst football boots I have ever tried on my feet. I thought they were absolutely horrific. Then they updated it to the Puma Ultra 5 and Ultra 5 Carbon. I have, of course, tried the Ultra 5 Carbon. You guys can see both my playtest and my full review on my channel already. These are the non-carbon edition. So these are the same construction. In fact, I'm gonna go grab the Puma Ultra 5 Carbon really quick just to show you that the shape and everything is actually identical, but there are a few things that are a little bit different. So now getting into, so here is your Ultra 5 Carbon, which of course I'm in the process of testing. So here you go. So as you can see, the sole plate is exactly the same. The last and the shape is the same, minus one or two things. So the Ultra 5 Carbon studs are definitely longer than the Ultra 5 studs. So I don't know, hopefully that'll, let's see if I can make that work. Does that, can you see that? See how the Carbon studs are like a good, I'd say probably 10% or 20% longer. Maybe that's the best way to do it. There you go. So you can kind of see. And then you have a rib through here that goes all the way. It's like the piece of where that back stud is all the way through there, whereas this is just a solid carbon. So slightly different, but very much the same stud shape and pattern. This is called the Speed System outsole. So with the Fast Tracks stud design, so this is obviously the same as the Carbon Edition. So these Fast Track studs are essentially built for acceleration here in the forefoot being angled sort of backwards so that you really get traction when you push off and you move forward. And then you have the deceleration studs, which are basically these three, and then these two right here, which are the opposite shape. It's sort of this horseshoe crab type shaping with a like half moon with a little kind of end to it, very much like a horseshoe crab almost. And that is something that is pretty cool. The studs on the Ultra 5 Carbon are really nice. They're pretty long and the sole plate is super stiff, and it's a little too stiff for my liking, at least from a kind of a practical perspective. But I do think that the Ultra 5 looks awesome. And then you do have a very nice, and this is like the perfect amount of spring back. Holy moly, they have nailed this. Very good stability and very challenging, I won't say very challenging, but very, very good structure and stability through the forefoot area. That is really impressive, to be honest. Those are awesome. So this is the Speed System with the Fast Track stud design. This is really awesome as well. Oh, one more thing about the sole plate is this is something that makes me really happy. They have only marketed this, and here is the box for proof. They have only marketed this as an FG boot. Thank you, Puma. These are not an AG suitable boot. Definitely not. They're too aggressive. Similar to the Carbon Edition, these are definitely too aggressive. I'm so glad, and I've heard the AG model of this is actually really good. So I'm excited to potentially try those. I might see if I can get a pair of those in at some point, but these honestly just look awesome. So I am very stoked to try the sole plate because I do think that this sole plate design from Puma is updated, it's new, and it actually is super functional. I really enjoyed it on the Carbon, especially playing on a beautiful firm ground pitch. Now, this is a slightly different upper, slightly. It's a little bit more robust than the Carbon Edition. This still is a lightweight mesh upper with the Power Tape SQD support frame. So on the inside, you've got these little kind of support cage elements on the inside coming up and across that way and then down this way to kind of, as you tighten the shoe, it locks you into the heel area. So that Power Cape SQD support frame. And then you have the Grip Control Pro, which is that sticky feeling, the coating that they put on the upper, and a little bit of a sound check. So I'll just go like this first. You can kind of hear how sticky it is, and then so it's pretty textured. So not only do you have a textured upper, but you've also got that stickiness to it, which I did experience on the Carbon Edition. You get less texture on the Carbon Edition, so I hope this shows on camera, but you get a little bit of a smoother upper on the Ultra Carbon, but you get a more textured upper, but the same stickiness. So they both have that kind of sticky Grip Control Pro element on it, but this one feels like it has more texture to it, which might actually be advantageous for players who are looking for a little bit more kind of grippy textured elements. I actually really like the way that that feels from a tactile perspective as well. And it remains pretty soft and pretty flexible, which is great. So God, at least on paper, this boot seems like it's going to absolutely crush, and I think it's going to be really popular for a lot of people. You do have the Nano Grip technology on the removable sock liner, which is always great to see from the Puma brand. So there's that Nano Grip tech. This is obviously looks a little bit different. Usually it's a silver colorway, but I love that they went with kind of that color match with the boots and stuff. The Nano Grip is a really nice touch. It just adds that little bit of extra grip when you are inside the boots and helps keep your foot from slipping around on the bottom of the shoes as well. And then you have the Ortholite heel cushioning, which is definitely a lot less than the new King Ultimate, which I will be reviewing as well. I don't know which boot's going to come out first, but you can see the Ortholite heel liner there. Now, in comparison to the new King, which I've just actually got done reviewing, that Ortholite is a lot more robust and stuff. So I am a little cautious. The Ortholite coating on the carbon edition definitely has a little bit more, it feels like. And they've got these really weird little floppy elements around the heel area, which I wasn't a huge fan of, so I'm glad they just went with a flush knit material here. But it does, the heel area in the Ultra 5 Carbon actually felt very locked in and pretty comfortable. So I'm hoping that this is the same, and then I'm glad it's just like a nice, clean, flush knit material, and it doesn't have that extra kind of floppy crap all over it. This is marketed as well as sort of a regular to a narrower fit, although if it's the same as the Puma Ultra Carbon, I do feel like I'm going to be able to slip into these. Yes, it'll take some break-in time, but my hope is that in the on-feet portion of the video, we can talk about whether or not it's going to be a boot that I feel safe sort of getting into and really trying to break in as well, and we'll go from there. So honestly, I am I gotta be honest, I'm a pretty huge fan of the way these look, first of all. I do like how the carbon fits, so I'm really hopeful. I have pretty high expectations of these, and I really want them to fit, because I think if this fits, it's gonna completely change my opinion on what the new Ultra is, and especially if you wear these on FG with this particular sole plate, with how really nice and like, this is like the perfect amount of structure in my opinion. Like, it's a little bit difficult to push down, and it's got crazy snappiness to it with very little transverse plane, so like twisting this way, that way. Oh man, this has everything on paper to be so good, but I haven't tried it on yet, so I'm not sure. So without further ado, let's hop into the on-feet portion of the video, talk about sizing, talk about fit and feel, talk about the comparison between this and the Ultra Carbon. Let's rock and roll. All right, fam, out here in the backyard with one of the coolest pair of Tricks colorways I've seen in a really long time. These are sick. They're very lightweight. Let's hop into the on-feet portion. So as you can see, these are nutso. They look amazing. I'm probably partial to this one with the orange and then the pink on the bottom. As I said before, I wish they would have done pink with an orange bottom, but I get it. You have to do the same sole plate, whatever. Okay, so I actually have kind of big expectations for these because of how good I thought the Ultra Carbons were, and I think these are gonna be even better than those because it's going to give you a sole plate that's a little more normal feeling. And here we go. Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah, Puma, what are you doing? You are absolutely cooking right now, dude. These are, wow. Okay. I am massively impressed already with the comfort of these. Yes, they're a little bit snug in the midfoot, but this mesh upper, look at that. Like, that is impressive for a mesh speed boot. So, little bit of extra space on the toe box, which is perfect. I would not probably recommend going half a size down, just because you're gonna get the best fit with the true to size, and it's gonna be all dandy and good. Let's get the orange one on the right foot. But yeah, slipping into these. So the upper is slightly different, as we talked about in the unboxing portion, with these compared to the carbons. I think this one is more pliable. It feels a little bit softer to me. Maybe that's just the colorway, I don't know. But it just feels a little bit better in my opinion than the carbon edition does. Let's see how that performs like on pitch once they get broken in. But oh my days, guys, like still not as comfortable as like a Vapor 16, Superfly 10. I think these are more comfortable, at least straight out of the box, than the F50 for my foot, which is kind of a big statement. This mesh upper feels fantastic. It's not a feeling of specialness. Like, you don't put it on and you're not like, oh my God, these are special. There's something that they've done with this boot that is just so much more than everybody else. It's like, nah, these are like a nice mesh upper, but it's the shape, it's the way it feels super fast. And then the sole plate, so I'm not flexing my foot right now. And then it just puts you this, oh my gosh, it really just puts you up on your toes, which is awesome. This new kind of speed system, and it works so well to just like put you up on your toes. However, as I'm just sitting here, it's not as aggressive, and like I can flex my foot up like that. The carbons would not have let me I'm screwing around with tenses right now. Did not do so well in grammar, I suppose. But it lets you kind of flex the boot however you want to, like a normal football boot does. Whereas the carbons are just amazing and they're beautiful, but they're so aggressively stiff that your feet really have to form to the boots, as opposed to this, which feels like the boots are kind of forming to my feet, which is awesome. So here's a full look at the boots. I mean, look, they look incredible. Maybe Trix colorways are for you. I love them. I think the concept of 2 different colored boots is awesome. I think it just looks sick. Dude, the Puma Ultra 5s are a massive upgrade. Again, I can't really say that the Ultra 5 Carbon is like the successor to the Ultra Ultimate, which was the previous generation, and that boot was horrible in every possible way. These are like all the best upgrades for the Ultra Ultimate. So this is like the true successor to that boot. The Ultra 5 is like, dude, it's a proper speed boot now. Like, this is a boot that I am definitely going to be wearing in training sessions and probably games. The Ortholite in the heel area feels great. They really have done an awesome job with the way that it kind of wraps my heel. And even though, as you can see, this area right there kind of pops out. Yes, I can stick a finger kind of in that area still. That hopefully will break in, but I don't really feel it all that much. So yeah, when I look down, I'm like, oh, annoying. It doesn't, like, it's sort of awkward around my ankle, but like, whatever, like, it is what it is. If the rest of the boot feels like what it does with my eyes closed, no problems at all. The Ortholite in the heel feels amazing. It's definitely an upgrade over the previous generation. The sole plate is like leagues, and it's actually like a proper FG sole plate now. The cool thing too is that Puma seems to be taking notes from some of my rants and some of the other people's rants online, whether it's like J Mike or Josh or Andrew with Lockhart Boot Blog, or with James at Boot Wizard, like any of those, and other dudes that I'm not mentioning. This is one of those boots that it seems like they went, people don't really like this. Noted, let's change it. And this is back to what Puma speed boots are. Like the era of Puma speed boots that was like Evo Speed SLs, Evo Speed 1.0 or whatever it was. Like, though, that's like the golden era of Puma. You know, when at the same time you had like Usain Bolt wearing those gold Puma track shoes. Like, we love that Puma makes some of the fastest shoes on the market, and it seems like with these, again, I haven't tried these out on pitch. I'm very excited for it. It seems like they've done that. Like, they really have gone back to what they're really good at, which is making super fast feeling, really thin, really comfortable, even though they're a little stiff. But that's the point. Like, a speed boot should be a little bit, you know, it should lock your foot in really well. Touch on the ball, very, very thin. This mesh upper reminds me actually quite a bit of Asics DS Lite Acros 3, which is a I think these are different meshes. Puma didn't specify in some of their marketing materials and their like pitch deck. I don't think this is the mesh jacquard, which is the like circular kind of knit material that the Acros 3 is, but from a feeling perspective, they feel very similar to that from the standpoint of like kind of a raw like mesh that's got a really nice kind of flex to it, but it doesn't like overstretch. It doesn't like overstretch. It just flexes and molds to the different areas of your foot. So, man, Puma Ultra 5, these might be up there for contender for potential boot of the year. I know that's like way early for me to say, but these are amazing. They feel so good. And one of the biggest things that I am, Puma, if you're watching this, that I really, really comes from heart and soul. I genuinely appreciate that you are now making a proper AG model and not saying that your boots are AG and FG. Or excuse me, that your boots are AG/FG, that they're the same thing, because that's very, very seldom the case with any brand. Like really no brand can actually say AG and FG. Your boots in the past have not been that way, even though you've marketed that way. This one, you've marketed as an FG, and I 100% feel that because they're awesome and they feel very aggressive, and I think they're gonna be unbelievable on an FG surface. And I've also heard amazing things about your AG model as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you for putting in the time and money it takes to develop both models, because you're keeping players safer and you're doing way better for the different, for people to kind of pick and choose what they want for their pitch type. So really, really appreciate that as well. So yeah, these are awesome. And I have this little piece of paper that just flew out of nowhere. Okay, so final thoughts before we wrap up today's video. Great sole plate, very aggressive. It does put you up on your toes. So if you're somebody who's like, I'm not really sure, I want a flatter sole plate, I'm usually in that camp, then maybe stay away from these. However, I would say that if you're willing to try a boot that's got just that little bit of extra like push up on your toes. So if I'm doing this, if I'm sitting without flexing my foot and I kind of roll forward, so stand on that foot. So that's about how much heel lift there is once I go into that sweet spot where the studs are kind of designed to be. That's about where I would sit if my toes are kind of naturally up, right? And that's where the shoe kind of pushes me up into this position, which is great. So that feels awesome. So sole plate feels good. Upper feels so much better than previous generation. It's not even close. As you can see, wiggling my toes. Yeah, it's still a little bit stiff, but I think as most mesh uppers do, the mesh upper will actually flex and mold to the shape of my foot. Little complaint here with the extra space, but this happens with pretty much every single boot that's a synthetic or a mesh based. Knit tends to wrap straight to my foot, no problem. But for the most part, most synthetic boots do this just because I've got kind of the wide midfoot, wide toe box, and then narrow heel area. So it's that awkward space like right on the outside of my ankle where the material's like, I don't know what to do. We can't actually sit flush to your ankle. And I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. So anyway, and then heel area with the Ortholite inserts feel fantastic. No issues at all so far. Pivoting, no issues. Up and down, no issues as well. Stay tuned, obviously, for the playtest, which you will get very soon of these, because I am actually super excited to try these out on an FG surface. I'll go out to that beautiful grass pitch that I always do for the playtests and rip it up with those. So hope you guys enjoyed that review. Puma, nice job. Really, really, really nice job. I think the new Puma Ultra Carbon is an awesome idea. I love that you guys have a Halo model now. For those of you guys who are Puma enthusiasts and Puma speed boot enthusiasts from the past, the Puma Ultra 5 is the one to get now. It is very comfy. It's back to what Puma speed boots should be, which is that super thin, raw, locked-in sensation with an aggressive sole plate and traction pattern that's responsive and feels good. Touch on the ball feels good. You do have that little bit of extra stickiness as well. So I do feel like I'm going to be able to manipulate the ball a little bit better than some of the other boots on the market that don't have that texturing or that stickiness to them. Like the video if you got value from it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, be awesome. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.